Are you ready to get philosophical?
I fucking love this shit.
Beautiful listeners, you are worth all the stars in the sky.
Hell yeah.
And at least 2 perfectly cooked grilled cheeses.
Hell yeah. Does a bear shit in the woods?
Sometimes. He's been known to shit in a liquor tent. Yeah, pick up a book, losers.
Pick up a book, losers.
Welcome to the Based Banter Podcast.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another amazing, awesome, spectacular episode of the Based Banter Podcast. I'm your host today, and as always, I'm joined by my best friend and co-host, Joey. Say what's up, buddy.
What is up, everybody? I think that's what you just said. How's everybody doing? There we go.
One of the things.
I'm a copycat, buddy.
Hey, how you been doing? What's new in your world?
Dude, so, man, I've been doing so much new things. I've been practicing keyboard, practicing guitar, working towards this event we got coming up in April. And I've just started streaming on my Twitch channel, which is Arcano Joe, selfish plug. I'm streaming a fan-made Pokemon game. It's called Pokemon 3D, where it's a first-person version of Pokemon Gold and Crystal and Silver.
If you say that too loud, Nintendo will hear you.
Well, guess what, Nintendo? I didn't make the shit, so fuck off. But
Cease and desist.
Anyways, what have you been up to, man?
Oh, man, I have been practicing some bowling, man. That's been my center here lately. I have been trying to get the mechanics of the approach and the throw and all the different components that go into being competitive, because I think that's my goal now. I've kind of set out to be the very best, like no one ever was.
Dun, dun, dun.
To strike every frame is my real test.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, hell yeah. All
okay,
right.
yeah.
All right.
A little bit of that.
That's cool as fuck, man.
But that's been my obsession lately. You ever get just so hyper fixated on something and it's just that's all you can think about? Is that something that's normal for you?
We have a future episode coming out soon, and wouldn't you like to know that I've been hyperfixating on that specific topic? This is going to be a plug for that future episode, talking about the Age of Disclosure documentary that's coming out. So stay tuned for that. If that episode comes out before this one or prior, either way, that's something that I've been hyperfixated on is what the fuck is going on?
And I've got to say it too, right? This is going to tie into the next future episode we record, where you turn me on to a podcast episode where the director of that movie was on. And man, it got me thinking. I'm a big skeptical. I'm very big skeptic. So, but anyways, we're getting too far past the point today, buddy.
You don't want to dive too far down that rabbit hole because it'll consume you. I'll speak
for myself. I'm very excited to record that episode. So, but here lately, man, I have been getting into this horrible mindset where I have let the stress of life consume me, and I'm into something right now called burnout. Have you ever been burnt out before?
The only Burnout I'm familiar with is the video game Burnout, where you has realistic crashing of cars. Like when you hit a car head on, your whole car crumbles, and it's like a racing crash simulator. That's my favorite form of Burnout.
See, I had a feeling that whenever I brought this up to you, you would say something about the car game. So I got you some fun facts about Burnout.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. What was that? Paradise City? That was a gangster fucking intro, too.
Don't copyright strike us.
I don't even think I did it right either, so we're good.
So the original name of Burnout was Shiny Red Car. Doesn't that sound crazy?
Bro, have you ever played, what is that car game? Shit. It's very similar to Burnout, but it's on PC. BeamNG.
BeamNG, the game with the most advanced soft body physics. Yeah, I'm a very avid lover of BeamNG. It's amazing to see.
Hell yeah, dude.
How far that technology can go.
Right, but we're not here to talk about Burnout or BeamNG. You've got some shit going on. You're feeling a little burnt out. and you wanted to talk about that. And
Yeah, and I also wanted to see if anyone else could relate, because a lot of stuff is happening. If you follow, like, the news even, because a lot of the news headlines can be disparaging and can cause that burnout too. For me personally, though, that's not the burnout I'm feeling. The burnout I'm feeling is from a huge workload to where I'm just constantly working, and it feels like I never get a day off to rest. And I know once I'll be able to get that rest, I'll be feeling a lot better. But right now, I'm still in the midst of it. Don't you know?
Man, this is kind of a hard topic for me to relate to, mostly because thank the gods above, I've been blessed with an occupation where, I only work 3 days a week, and then I'm off for 4 days. But I will say I have been there before, and burnout is a very real and a very serious thing. And I think, it ties in with something like, I think they call it writer's block, potentially.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's a very correlated thing. I've definitely experienced writer's block with my novels that I've written.
So there's also other forms of burnout, like you were mentioning on, and that can be something like caretaking responsibility. So if you are a parent, or if you are taking care of, like, of your parents or other family members, there's also the work-life balance, like what I was talking about. And then there's also perfectionism and pessimism, where you can get so indulged in doing something so perfectly that you end up just getting burnt out on it. There's another one for lack of social support, where you're just feeling isolated and not having a strong network of friends or family to lean on when facing difficulties. And that one's got to be one of the worst ones. And then chronic health or financial stress, because that is a very real thing that people face. Because if you have health issues and it doesn't ever seem like you're getting better, you can get burnt out on that and just start, losing that optimism. Have you'd mentioned that you haven't been in that place for so long, but
all right, as I'm sitting here thinking about it, when you're breaking it down, I can relate, but it's in a different way. See, when I first think about burnout, I immediately go towards, like, physical burnout, right? Thinking about working too much and just being exhausted, not ever really having time to do your hobbies or spend time with family or friends. But for me, I think the burnout that I experience, since I do have a lot of free time, is creative burnout. I do get that writer's block. I will start up a video game, and then I'll dive headfirst into it, and I'll spend 3 or 4 weeks playing it. And then before I finish the game, I'm so sick and tired of it, I don't want to play it anymore.
That was another one of my questions that I wanted to know, is that, okay, so that's another form of burnout, is that creative. And a lot of people will get burnt out of playing a game that they absolutely loved, but you get so familiar to it and you're just, like, so involved with it that you just kind of lose that ambition. So what was the last game you got burnt out on, buddy?
So I did a recent stream trilogy of the Mass Effect series, right? There's 4 of those games. So I played through Mass Effect 1, beat it, played through Mass Effect 2, beat it, played through Mass Effect 3, beat it. I got into Mass Effect Andromeda, and I'm just like, God, dude, I'm so sick of the effect of mass.
And Mass Effect, to complete the story, I'm pretty sure it's a lot of hours. I can't even put a number to it, but I know it's a lot of hours.
There were several days where I would stream for 10 to 15 hours straight playing that game. And this, again, it's across 4 different games. And I will go ahead and give you people a spoiler. Mass Effect Andromeda is not tied into the Mass Effect trilogy.
It's not canon.
It is canon because they're working on Mass Effect 4.
And that's going to tie it in?
Yes. Now, I don't know what the actual canon ending is going to be as far as Mass Effect 3 goes, because there's a couple different endings, right? There's the outcome you can choose, which chooses the fate of Commander Shepard, which is the main character of Mass Effect, if you're not aware. Also, one of the best written main characters in the history of video games.
That's a bold statement.
Dude, if you've never played Mass Effect, I want to go ahead and tell you now, dude. They beautifully combined the ability to transcend story from one game to the next, where your decisions and choices you make affect the story of the next game. So you can play through Mass Effect 1, make a bunch of decisions, and when you boot up Mass Effect 2, those decisions carry over, and the whole game is shaped based off of the previous game. And that goes all the way into Game 3. It's a form of video gaming that you don't find anymore.
Not too much.
Not like that, dude. And it's like you can pick the same character, carry the same character over, continue the story, and it's your story, shaped how you chose to play it, right? Like, and that to me is like so organic, and I fucking loved it. But
I've never heard a better endorsement for a game.
Dude, it's one of the best games I've ever played. I love those games. But I got burnt out on it, and I haven't beaten Andromeda. I probably think 20 hours in, and I'm just like, ugh, I'm playing a bunch of other shit right now.
See, I'm to the point where I'm so burnt out where I don't even want to play video games. And even the games that I'm excited about, because I'm behind the curve, because you're basically on the forefront of like new games, and like you're playing a bunch of interesting stuff. But I recently found a deal. Steam had a deal for Red Dead Redemption 2. A lot of people love Red Dead Redemption 2. And yeah, man, so I started off playing it, really started enjoying it, was getting into it, got past the tutorial where you end up at that camp, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm kind of done with this. And I have not picked it up since.
Well, they do have one of the most like epic slow burns for a start in a game, and you know, it's Rockstar too, so there's too much freedom sometimes, right?
Dude, I felt like once we got past the that winter biome we was in, I'm just like, that's it. We survived.
It takes like 2 hours to get through that too, which is a long time for a tutorial.
And I'm just like, that's it. We did it, baby. We made it to summer. And
We're done.
That was the game.
That's the game.
Roll sub credits.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. Arthur. We're not going to give you that spoiler because you're going to still play it, buddy. So I'm not going to tell you what happens. But I will tell you this. It's one of the more... it's one of the more famous endings in video game history, and it will pull at your heartstrings.
Okay. I like how this has turned into a little discussion about video games, because video games is something that is way more common that people get burnt out on.
Right. And many video games you can get burnt out on, and then you move right along to the next one, and then you get burnt out on that one. And it's just this vicious cycle until you recycle and you start back up on the fresh one that you were burnt out on a couple months ago. I do the same thing with Skyrim. I'll play it for like a month, get burnt out on it, and then I'll revisit it a year later.
Same with Minecraft. Every once in a while it becomes Minecraft season, and then it becomes Skyrim season. It's just one of those games that are just timeless, and it's just...
Right.
Honestly, I would dare say masterpieces.
Right. I have a question for you, though. Do you, since Burnout is kind of like a thing that's on the forefront of your mind, what do you do to kind of like help combat that or to help deal with it?
So right now, I've identified what is causing the burnout, and that is a disruption of the balance of work-life. So I'm not getting to experience enough life, and I'm just too busy working. Excuse me. So the only way I feel that I can get through this burnout is that I have more downtime to just do whatever.
Right. And sometimes you can't always choose that downtime, right? Like with your job, I believe I was messaging you and you were talking about this is like your 12th day working straight. And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, what is that? Mandatory overtime? And you was like, yeah, dude, they're making me come into work, which I think is fucking, it should be illegal. When you get hired on, you agree to work X amount of hours a week, and that should be it, unless they throw in there, yeah, occasionally we might make you work more, and then you agree to that shit, which I think is bullshit.
If there was a little bit more of foresight to this, it may have been a little bit better. I could have possibly prepared more and not have made plans for the weekends that I was going to have to work. But it is what it is, man. And honestly, it's one of those things you can only get better at, I hope.
Right. You deal with it, and that's just how you have to just accept your fate at that point, right? It's one of those things where, like, it's not going to last forever. It sucks while it's happening, yeah. But eventually, things will go back to normal, and you will resume your routine and your daily activities.
So here's something a little bit more interesting, because since I wanted to talk about burnout for this episode, I did a little bit more research, and wouldn't you know it, there are some paradoxes of burnout.
Paradoxes.
Right. So, feelings that are contradictory or just flat out counterintuitive. And so these are often signals that prevent people from realizing they are burnt out until it's too late. Fortunately, I've been pretty self-aware, and I've been watching myself slowly slip into this. I'm just like, well, what do I do? And I'm just like, well, I just need some days off. It's like, okay, well. But the most cruel paradox, I believe, is that burnout disproportionately affects those who are most passionate about their work, purpose, or mission. Like how you said earlier, how you experience the burnout with your creativity. So you have this expectation that, like, passion and purpose, like, should be protective, giving you energy and resilience. But the reality of it is highly motivated people are more likely to ignore their body signals and push past reasonable limits and internalize, like, workplace issues. And they'll feel morally obligated to sacrifice their well-being for the mission, making them the most vulnerable for, like, to depletion and, like, moral distress.
Right.
And then, like, the love for the job becomes the reason for suffering.
Right. And I think a lot of that is contributed to, like, quotas. Like, if you're an artist, you have to complete a painting by a specific amount of time, or you're not going to be able to sell it. Or if you're creating a book, you have to have it published by a certain time. Or even with, like, movies and acting, the film has to be done by a certain time. So you overwork yourself to meet these quotas. And then that can kind of put a damper onto the quality of the product.
Right. And very fortunately, I feel as though this podcast and the creative energy that has to go into it doesn't contribute to my burnout at all, because each bit of research I take in is something that helps improve my character and helps me learn stuff and makes me a better people.
Hell yeah.
That's a throwback.
Hell
or that's
yeah.
a callback, I mean. It's a throwback
we
callback.
are working towards being better people. Better people. Fuck. I said it right. Fuck.
Yeah, so burnout something's very serious. A way some people will deal with burnout is definitely by focusing on stuff that means more to them than other things, right? Because that paradox, like, is a cruel one, where you're like, well, I'm really passionate about this. I put a lot of weight on my crafts or my work, and then you end up getting burnt out on it. And I mean, some stuff gets spent in the process. There's another paradox about so burnout is defined by exhaustion, yet the physical state is often one of high alert. So being exhausted means you should be able to fall asleep easily and rest well.
Yeah, my ass is still sitting awake at fucking 6 a.m. playing on my phone when I should be asleep.
Right. The chronic stress keeps the body's fight or flight system, the sympathetic nervous system, activated. Yeah, we got the brain for that one. Like, leading to insomnia. So that's part of the reason why, is that they just have, like, their sympathetic nervous system is just activated. So the burnt out individual is paradoxically too wired to sleep.
Wired, son.
While suffering from a deep fatigue and just a restless, over alert mind. So that's a horrible paradox to find yourself in.
Yeah, that's yeah, I find myself restless quite often. I don't even think about burnout, honestly. I probably deal with it subconsciously, not even aware that I'm fucking going through it. I probably get burnt out every like last cycle on my work cycle because I work 12-hour shifts. By that last one, I'm just so cooked. I just go home and I'm immediately like, I need to sleep. I'm so exhausted. But I end up staying awake for like several hours, even fighting through exhaustion.
Dude, what an excellent segue, because something else I researched whenever I was looking this up is that there are ways that burnout shows up without people noticing. And one of the ways is just subtle physical exhaustion. So that's more than just being tired. It's a persistent deep fatigue that doesn't improve with rest. And some people get this way worse, where it's often mistaken for like a common cold or poor sleep habits. So insomnia, that's paradoxical fatigue. So even though you are exhausted, you can't turn off your mind to sleep, or you wake up frequently and you can't stay asleep. And that's the stress hormones. They keep your body in this state of alert, which is awful. It's just like, hey, the stress is gone. I'm in bed now. We're good. We're chilling. Right?
But then you still can't chill. You're sitting there. You're just like, fuck me, man. Why is my brain my enemy sometimes?
See, and we're bringing up all this stuff, and I don't have the answers for y'all.
I have an answer for you. You wanted me to tell you what I use and how I combat my burnout?
Here we go. Fucking superhero on the podcast.
Okay, dude. All right. This is, it's going to make me sound like a crazy person, but...
You already sounded crazy, buddy.
If you didn't catch on by now, buddy, you're going to know. But this has been a tried and true method for me for as long as I've been alive, and it's made a lot of difficult things a lot more easier to deal with. But I'll often find myself faced with like a difficult situation or feeling exhausted or just being overworked. One of the ways that I deal with that is I find myself operating at like a volume level 8, right? And that's where I'm feeling this exhaustion and this burnout. What I'll do is I'll crank the volume up to like fucking 20. And then I'll just go extra hard.
He's going ham.
I'm going ham for longer than I'm supposed to, harder than I'm supposed to, doing things that are way more difficult than the average task demands. So when I revisit that average task that was demanding a lot from me, it's no longer so demanding. Like, for instance, let's say, I find myself working really hard and I'm on my feet for 12 hours a day. One of the ways that I dealt with the pain and the exhaustion from working long hours is on my day off, I spent 16 hours on my feet. 16 hours while hiking through the mountains and fucking working constantly with no breaks. And at least I get a break at work.
Okay, so speaking into that, because that's something we can definitely delve into. So would you say that's more discipline than anything? Are you just disciplining yourself and being like, nah, you ain't got a right to feel tired or burnt out?
I think it's less discipline, more of I was forced to do that once, and then I found out that it worked, and it was like a glitch in my mind. So then I was like, well, this thing is bothering me. The only way to get it to stop bothering me is to do something 10 times worse.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yes, because you can appreciate that menial task after you've been through hell and back.
Because it's all about perspective, right? Is that what it's about?
Pretty much, right? And it's also about the amount of effort and amount of what are you willing to put yourself through?
How willing are you to not feel like this is breaking you down?
Right.
Would you go the distance and do the thing that your body's telling you not to do?
Right. And I'll give you another example. Like at my job, I get 3 breaks throughout a night. And when I'm in routine, I find my body getting exhausted when it comes point for me to go to break. Right. So to avoid that exhaustion, I started skipping breaks. Then I would no longer get 3 breaks. I would have 2, maybe 1 break, and then I would stop doing breaks for 45 minutes to 20 minutes. Next thing I knew, my body was accustomed to not having breaks, and I no longer felt fatigue when it came to break time.
And just some context, your job requires you to be on your feet for 12 hours a night.
Yes, and it's physical,
constantly
manual
walking,
labor.
physical labor.
And it's mental work, too, because, I have to deal with data, I have to deal with paperwork, and I have to do maintenance on machines.
You got to deal with the maintenance people.
Oh, yeah. All aspects of it, man.
So that's another side of burnout, too. That's a nice little segue into...
social burnout.
The mental emotional distance, right? And that can tie into social as well. So some ways that people don't realize they're burnt out is that they will start experiencing emotional numbness or just flatness, to where you stop having strong reactions to like good or bad things. And then maybe you're just feeling blah or like unbothered by bad news.
Right. You're not presenting yourself in the way that you want to because you're feeling that way.
And then there's also decision paralysis over trivial matters. So stuff that doesn't even matter in the big scheme of things. So minor choices like what you're going to eat, what you're going to watch. Like if you're someone that has to answer emails, like what emails to tackle next. And then this brain fog is just the result of your cognitive resources being completely depleted. And then... we have irritability in a short fuse. That's another way it shows up.
My damn short fuse. I'm irritable as fuck.
He's got dang mad. He done saw the Steelers lose, and now everybody's going to get it.
He's just dealing with burnout. Give him a break.
And then there's the other thing, too, about loss of interest in hobbies, which I'm now realizing is something that I may have brought up myself about not wanting to play video games as much anymore. So that's a very subtle way that burnout shows up in our lives. And then there's also the way that it shows up with efficacy, about how well you do stuff. And then chronic procrastination. See, I did a lot of research on this. I'm just speaking through my notes now. This is hardly conversational.
Got some notes, man. Look, for anyone who's not aware, like myself, I don't passively even think about burnout. So this could be informative for an individual who might be feeling and experiencing these symptoms, but they're not aware that this is an actual term. So this could be very helpful information, especially, to know that they're not alone, right? Other people are dealing with this too.
This is an excellent segue into my next point. You have been killing it as co-host. This is a mental health check, everybody. Mental health checkpoint. So, I want anyone listening to this to check in with yourself, check in with your body, see what you're feeling, see if your needs are getting met.
Gotta shit. If you gotta shit.
Have you shat today?
Go take a number 2, buddy. You need to do it. Do it now.
Are you denying yourself the sweet release of a shit?
If you're not, you should.
Maybe you should just go in there.
Massage those bowels, buddy. Get it out. It's okay. No one's watching.
Just judging.
All right. Well, I think that's a great point for us to take a little break here on the Base Banter podcast.
Are you going to go take a shit, buddy?
I might have to go take a shit. And, while I'm taking that shit, you should listen to some of this weird news that we have with our news segment we call Based News.
Based News.
Breaking news brought to you by the Base Banter Podcast. This is Base News.
Welcome to the Based News. Today's news we have a marigold runaway cow shuts down an Ohio highway. In Hilliard, Ohio, a 1,200-pound cow escaped from a trailer and wandered onto an Ohio interstate. Talk about a traffic jam. You better move.
Wait, is this my line? Waking up. Wait, hold on. In a terrifying but ultimately relieved twist, a 49-year-old Thai woman who was declared dead woke up inside her coffin on Monday, just moments before she was scheduled to be cremated.
In other news, Indiana theme park deer ends up in a pool after wandering into closed park. A deer wandered into a closed theme park in Indiana and slipped through a safety net. Talk about going for a quick dip, I dare say you.
Oh, my turn again? Hold on, can you scroll the teleprompter back? Police in Tennessee are baffled by reports filed late last week where a realtor, hold on, scroll back, where a realtor arrived at a property. Today's my first day, guys. Go easy. To find the entire concrete driveway missing.
Escaped Ohio emu leads police on a 45-minute chase. In Guernsey, Ohio, deputies ended up chasing a runaway emu. Talk about a high-speed chase. This has been the Based News.
Dun, da, 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 da. All right, so
Wow.
a little bit of news for y'all.
Keeping you in the fucking loop, buddy.
And you know what's not news? That every single one of y'all are some snacks. Every single one of y'all are worth every single star in the sky.
I just ate one of them snacks.
Yeah, you just got 8. He ate your whole booty.
The booty eater. Booty eater. I don't know what happened there. Just move along.
So we was talking a little bit about some burnout. So burnouts are typically done whenever you have
A car and you hit the gas while holding down on the e-brake and you squill your tires until all the rubber is burned to the road.
and in a drag racing setting, you put on what is called not a trans brake, because a trans brake is what you'll use to launch off the line.
I thought a trans brake was when you go to the club and you misidentify a female as a male.
And then
Or
you wait.
was it the other way around? I'm not sure anymore nowadays. And we're canceled.
And
I don't think that was insensitive, right? You can cut all of that out. It's fine. I don't care.
I don't know what to do from here. Okay.
You said something about trans and I was triggered.
He was triggered. So
Listen, first of all, I support anybody's decision to do whatever the fuck they want with their life. If you're burnt the fuck out with your gender, dude, fucking do what you want.
Yo, this is the part of the fucking podcast where we will air our goddamn grievances because
It's not a grievance. I support this message.
I am burnt out
I'm Joe Biden.
on Joe
I
Biden.
support this message.
I'm burnt out on Donald Trump, and I'm burnt out on the goddamn political system making us think we have a fucking choice in the matter.
We're very, very successful in these tariffs. We are going to reduce burnout in all of our citizens with a $2,000 stimulus.
And I will put my $2,000 stimulus with my $5,000 rebate from the Doge savings,
Oh, hell yeah,
and
dude.
I will buy some $2 gasoline.
I'll spend it all on hookers and blow. You know what's fucked up, though? Is that, like, I have, when we post these episodes, there is a adult disclaimer, right? And then some people have teenage kids who are allowed to, have access to the internet, and they will be able to find this podcast and listen to our crazy antics. And maybe there's a teenager out there who's experiencing a little bit of burnout. Now listen, now follow me here. This might be, it might be undigestible for a teenager, but if you can learn something from this, learn how to deal with burnout, not the fucking bullshit that we speak. Right?
Okay, we have shifted gears. Okay, so now our target audience, our demographic is going to be
14-year-olds.
Cool. Epstein Island.
Look, analytics show our demographic is at least from 20 to 35. So we're doing all right on that part. But I do know there are some listeners out there who might be in the teenage range. And to those listeners, I say
6'7".
6'7". Oh my God, dude!
Hell
I
yeah.
fucking hate you.
As you should, because you're cringe.
We're all cringe.
I will mark every single one of your statements you have said tonight as Ohio
Ohio is for lovers
and losers.
and losers. But I do want to talk about how how we come to this point in society where most of the general population is experiencing some kind of burnout, right?
Okay, so now you're on board with the burnout.
Right. I mean, it's it's one of those things. It's one of those things where, you know, most people aren't even aware of it when it's happening, and then they're just dealing with it and then moving right the fuck along. My thing is, you know, if you're listening to this podcast, right, and some of this relates to you, I think that we should formulate a takeaway before we end this and we send it home.
Okay, so a little bit back with me hosting, right? Because you're starting to take the reins, but I got to tell you,
look,
buddy.
I organically just move along. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm not overstepping.
Well, you threw me for a fucking loop there because
I just go, man. I just go. I just rip.
All right. So I did want to say that this, to our beautiful, wonderful, awesome listeners, this is your sign that if you are experiencing burnout, it is time to do something about it and take action and have the self-awareness to know that something has to be done. If you're feeling burnt out, man, if you don't enjoy the things like you used to, if you are like anything like we've talked about, like even a loss of appetite, you may be experiencing a burnout.
Right. So, all right, I have a question for you. What are some ways someone is experiencing burnout? What are some ways that they can help deal with that?
Were you not listening? I said I don't know.
If you had to guess.
Fucking take on a challenge that's 10 times as hard.
No, that's my thing, dude. No.
that's what I fucking know.
All right. I'll throw some shit your way, okay? This is what I suggest. I'm not a physician. I'm not anybody qualified to tell you how to live your life, but this is what's worked for me, and I think it will work for you. Right?
I'm lost. Man.
Get some more sleep, dude. Get some more sleep, and make time for the things you enjoy to do. Make time for spending time with family. Make time to spend time with friends. And if you're faced with a thing that you cannot affect, like let's say you have a work schedule that's dictating your life, note that there's a point where that work schedule has to change. And if it doesn't change organically, then you need to take action and make that change. Speak with your boss, take a day off, call in, request somebody cover your shift.
Maybe challenge them to a fight. And if you win...
And if you win, you get a day off.
You get a day off, at least.
But the point is, dude, you can't ignore these signs. You can't ignore these symptoms. Because if you do, major health effects will take place, right? You'll start to develop, long-term damage, and you don't want that. You want to mitigate that.
Okay, so I have searched a little bit deeper in my notes, and
hell yeah.
I
need that because I don't know the answers.
So the recovery process focuses on 3 key areas. Ooh. You following?
I like 3s.
3 R's, actually. So that is recognize, reverse, and resilience. So you can, let's start with the first one. You can recognize it, so acknowledge the symptoms, right? That's something that if you have noticed anything that we've said it kind of correlates or like makes you feel some type of way, you have acknowledged it. So that's already the first R. So you're already about 1/3 of the way there, everybody. The second R, these notes are very... very confusing because I'm not sure where there's an R in this.
There's 3 R's. We're pirates. Let's go.
How do I see how this works now? These notes, I wrote these notes. But recognize is just like identify the stressors too.
Right. We're recognizing.
And if you need to, you can seek some professional help. So a doctor or mental health professional. Yeah. Because burnout
therapy.
Burnout can overlap with other conditions like depression and anxiety.
BetterHelp.com.
Yeah, and a professional can keep you from going to BetterHelp.com. All right, so the second R, right, because I figured this out through all the scribbling and rambling, is reverse. That's the second R, the reverse. Right? Reverse. This is the action. So this is like an immediate load reduction. This is about taking concrete action.
Hell yeah.
To stop the depletion and start refilling the tank. You got to go refill it.
Get some rest.
So
take a day off.
And this is a little bit about what you was talking about setting firm boundaries. And
Tell your boss to fuck off.
a lot of people would say this is the most crucial step. So you learn to say no, or not yet. Even.
Mandatory overtime? I'm busy that day.
Sorry.
Sorry. I'm gonna be there.
You got to treat your personal time as sacred.
What are you gonna do? Fire me? I'll get a better job, higher paying, and I'll say fuck off, flipping you off on the way out the door.
Right.
Fuck
and,
you.
and another one of the things I have here is taking time off. So the disconnect. So if possible, take a real freaking break, like a vacation or sick leave.
Hell yeah.
That was for you. Critically, this time must be used to disconnect completely, not to catch up on personal chores or stay available for work calls. So take the time off, you disconnect, and you prioritize yourself.
Hell yeah.
And then delegate and prioritize. We're still in that second R, buddy. These are D's and P's and T's and S's and F's and B's.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. So ruthlessly prioritize tasks. Figure out what what is essential versus what can be delayed, dropped, or given to somebody else. Reduce your screen time, everybody. Get off your fucking phones. And exposure to overwhelming news, which is something we brought up earlier about the news cycle that we're all in, it's causing a lot of burnout. And I think that's the point, but that's a whole different podcast. And then micro rest breaks. So throughout the day, take short intentional breaks, like 5 to 10 minutes to stretch, go outside. Bam. Practice some deep breathing. Reset your nervous system. Bro, that's the second R. So everybody following me, right?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. The third R. Are you ready for a third R? We've gotten 2 R's.
Are you ready?
Resilience. So resilience. So this is about lifestyle changes that build long-term strength against future stress. So this is rebuilding that foundation. So this is something else. Like innately, we have hit on a lot of these points without me having to go to this note, like these notes. So the first one I have here is prioritize sleep. So aim for 7 to 9 hours of consistent sleep. So good sleep hygiene, like a cool, dark room.
Get that REM, buddy.
And no screens before bed. You have to have that discipline to keep that blue light from your freaking eyes because that will disrupt your sleep. That's not hearsay. That's not speculation. That is...
backed by science.
It's backed by science and all the goddamn sources that I won't name. And you got to nourish your body, right? You got to eat good. You got to consistently get that nutrition that stabilizes your blood sugar and energy levels. And that will directly impact your mood and irritability. Wow.
Hell yeah. And you know what? I'm glad you did all this research for us.
I got 2 more.
Oh,
2 more,
shit.
buddy. Hold on. We ain't done with this last R. This last R gets as much time. So
oh, shit.
You're going to love this next one because this is something that you do yourself. And you may be doing this just instinctually. So the next one is move your body.
Hell.
How much do you move your body? How much physical activity do you do in a week?
Not enough, dude. I need more.
Fucking loser.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And then, okay,
I agree.
So the very last point I will make for everyone that's struggling with burnout is engage in meaningful joy. So reintroduce those hobbies or social activities that you used to love that require a different kind of focus than your main stressor. And this will help restore that sense of self, like outside of the role that caused the burnout. So hopefully that will be helpful for somebody because somebody listens and somebody would like to know.
I dare say that will be helpful.
Excellent.
It was helpful for me, buddy.
What did you learn today?
I learned that I probably am not aware of the fact that I have burnout and that, I probably should take action and address some of those symptoms before I cause everlasting harm to my body.
That is an amazing takeaway, dude. I helped at least one person today with burnout as I am struggling with my own burnout. That is some superhero type shit.
He's a hero.
Yeah.
He's helping you beat
Super.
burnout one day at a time.
By being burnt out.
By being burnt out. He did it to himself, so you don't have to.
Yes, don't do as I do. Do as I say. But what an awesome, wonderful episode. Joey, I think the biggest takeaway is that, you know what, we have to take better care of ourselves. There's nobody in this world that cares more about us than ourselves. And if we don't, we end up in these situations where we feel burnt out. We have to prioritize our own well-being over certain things, because there are worthy, noble things worth sacrificing your well-being for. But that comes down to a personal preference. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you have prioritized, I guess, like a cause or somebody else or something else over your own well-being?
Absolutely, man. And being someone who is not as selfish as I should be, I do find myself prioritizing, if I can, actions and intentions for others over my own well-being. And maybe I should take a little bit more attention and put that towards being a little bit better about watching out for my own health. Because at the end of the day, it's the focus here is to just be a better people and be more healthier. It's because if I'm more healthier, I can help more, right?
Bam. That's why on a plane, they ask you to put on your oxygen mask first before you put on anyone else's.
I was going to do that anyways.
Yeah, buddy. And you know what, man? If you don't have any other big takeaways, I would like to drive this home.
I think we pretty much nailed it. As a listener, if you have any kind of things you want to weigh in, please do that. And as always, dude, give us the send-off. Let them know where they can send those comments.
These comments, because we want you to interact. We want to know if you have ever experienced burnout. Let us know. You ain't going to burden us with your comments. We would like to help you and understand your burnout.
The burn says it's working.
The burn means it's working. That doesn't rhyme at all. Doesn't rhyme at all. But
the burn says it's burning.
The burn is burning. Yes. The floor is made of burn.
What?
So you can find us. You can find me specifically at Jerry Contrite on Instagram. Then you can find us at Base Banner Podcast on Instagram, Base Banner Podcast on Facebook, and Base Banner Pod on X. We still have that Discord. Ooh, we've been teasing that Discord. It's still in the oven. There's still a few things to get in line there, but it is cooking. So, and you can find Joey at Arcano Joe at Twitch.
Hell yeah.
Amazing streamer. My best friend, dude. I appreciate you so much. And if there's nothing else you'd like to say.
I think we pretty much nailed it, dude. This has been a wonderful episode and a wonderful topic, and something I think that will really help some people. And that's what we're all about here at the Base Banter Podcast.
For sure. Peace.
Peace.